Hello, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? My name is Tim, and welcome to my favorite place here on YouTube, Draw2Much. And today, I'm going to try something a little different. I like to mix things up. If you look down below me right now, you'll see another screen, and on that screen down below, you'll see a video of something on YouTube, and I've chosen a video from the White House, believe it or not. This is something that I was doing a little earlier today, and I thought it was something that would be worth sharing with you guys. Sometimes using a reference photo is not the best way to do things. If you're drawing a celebrity or a public person, if you're drawing the president, as I am certain most of us caricature artists are doing right now, because we have a very interesting looking president now above us, there is certainly a lot that you can miss in just a single picture. And as I've always said to a lot of you guys, if you use a lot of different pictures, you can often find yourself really confused as to how to draw that individual. And I do think also really important is that you miss out on what makes that person that person. So what I'm going to do, and I have no idea about how much trouble this will get me with, how much trouble I'll get in with YouTube for trying this, but I'm going to play this video in the background, and you're going to see it on the screen down below. And I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing and use that video as a reference to draw the speaker who's right now doing the White House briefing for February 2nd, 2017, okay? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is simply maximize this window here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and we're just going to watch him talk. I have him muted. You won't hear anything. We don't need politics per se, but I do find something interesting about this YouTube channel, the White House YouTube channel. And the thing that's interesting about it is it gets people's faces up close and personal with you because you're looking at things from a pulpit situation. The person's right in front of you talking to you and to the people around you as you're watching. So it's a wonderful opportunity to practice some caricature. So I'm going to go ahead and use this gentleman, and I'm going to go ahead and try and draw him on my tablet here, and we'll see what we get, okay? That's my theory for this video. I hope that you enjoy it. Hit the like button if you enjoy this. You're welcome to hit the dislike button if you don't. And do not worry, this video is not about politics. This video is about caricature. I'm just using something I find really interesting, and I'll talk about it a little bit more as we go through things. I'm just going to go ahead and hit play and full screen this. And we're going to go ahead and use him. This video is 24 minutes, so of course we're going to try and make this work within 24 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a different pencil. I'm just going to use a pencil tool, and I'm also going to make sure that my brush density is super low. So it's just going to make this nice gray, even pattern here on my screen that I can work with, okay? If you guys are curious what I'm drawing with, this is a Wacom Cintiq 21UX. I'm also using a Logitech G13, and I apologize if you hear me go away from my microphone. I'm using my more portable setup right now, so this is a very directional microphone. Basically, everything that I'm doing here is all with this tablet and that controller. I use my G13 as a left-handed keyboard, basically. Works really, really well. Look it up. You'll love it. And then I'm also drawing in Clip Studio Paint Pro, a really, really great software, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and sketch this guy out. We'll see what kind of crazy caricature we can come up with him. First impressions, I'll just kind of walk through what I see as I'm looking. Humongous forehead, and that means that you can compensate with the chin. So I'm going to go ahead and just try and create this same looking fella, and I'm going to try and do this a little bit more realism sketch per se, like I did earlier today. If you haven't seen that, you can go check it out on Instagram. Just look up Legacy Studio Productions on Instagram, and that's where you can find it, and hopefully that'll give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about here. I think I did a good job on that one. We'll see about how I do with this guy. The ears are pretty large as well, but let me go ahead and get an idea of where the nose is first. And the nose is super, super tiny. If you look, those nostrils just kind of like super small. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of mock in where the nose would go. And I'm going to try and really exaggerate that really, really tiny nostril situation he's got going on there. I think that'll add for some fun. Okay. And that always helps me figure out where the eyebrows are going to go, and I can get a feel on just the general idea of the eyebrows. And he's got a smile going on. Something I'm noticing about right underneath the nose is the cartilage underneath the nose there goes deep, leaves a nice deep shadow. So I can apply that in here. And it seems pretty long, so I'm going to go ahead and, of course, exaggerate that down pretty far. And then he keeps looking down, but as he looks up, his mouth kind of stays the shape that I'm seeing when he's looking down for the most part on the sides. So on the sides, I can go ahead and kind of turn down the outsides of the mouth. But as it comes up and then goes back down, kind of like that. Same with the bottom one. And the bottom lip, I'm going to go ahead and exaggerate that by pushing it down and out. Because you can see he kind of purses his lips downward and really shows his bottom teeth. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of build the lip inside there. And I'm going to go ahead and build the teeth just right above it. So we can get a little bit of a feeling for the teeth. So here's the thing, guys. If you're trying to become a caricature artist, it's kind of, especially if you're in the area of theme parks and things like that, it's kind of a natural thing that maybe one day you'll end up becoming a caricature artist at theme parks and at special events, and you'll learn to do things in real life before you get in with digital a lot. And this plays a really important role, to learn how to be able to draw from real life. You're not always going to have the luxury of having a picture, and sometimes I find that actually drawing from real life is actually easier than drawing from a picture. And like I said, one of the reasons why this is really important is sometimes you can really capture the emotion of someone. I'm looking at his eyes, and you can see too, like really pencil thin eyebrow, like furrows right here in the center of his face. Okay. And then I'm noticing the eyes here, and they're kind of piercing. He's got blue eyes, very piercing. So I can go ahead and draw just the general idea of where the eyes might go. That right eye, and I'm talking about his left, our right. That right eye just looks like it's kind of drooping a bit. Hang on, let's wait for him to look up. Stop reading your papers? Okay. So as he looks up, it does look like it's kind of falling pretty fast. Yeah, see that? It might be hard to see, but I'm going to go ahead and play with that for now. So just pretty kind of following that line down, talking about using slants. And remember, you can take a look at a lot of my videos on Draw2Much.com, where I teach a lot of these techniques to show you how to draw. This is a really good technique to be able to draw from video. So go find your favorite YouTubers, go find people who are doing this kind of a talk where they're in front of a large community of people, certainly a briefing room or a newscast or something like that, and use that to your benefit. Now, the only reason why I first started this is because, this is going to be funny, some of you guys are going to laugh and some of you might not. I've been raised in church my whole life, okay? And being in church means that you sit in church and you listen to the pastor and you try and focus on what he's saying, and sometimes you rock at it and sometimes you just fall asleep. So it honestly depends on how good the speaking is and if it touches your heart. And the thing that I would do, because I've always been attention deficit, arms always moving, I always got to be doing something. My wife can tell you, if I am not enthusiastic in something, then I need to find a way to keep myself moving. Cell phones are really great for that these days. And cutting myself off here, you can see I've drawn this really sharp chin, but he obviously has more weight than that, and usually collared shirts add more weight naturally to a person's face. So I'm going to make sure that I round this face out and kind of chill out that chin. So we'll work on that as I keep talking here. But anyway, so my thing that I would do is I would draw the different pastors that we would be listening to. But if you're not sitting in the front row and getting an up-close personal look at this guy, there's just really no way to draw them. And so all you can do is draw them from far away, and then you get close to him and go, wow, I didn't even get close. So having this whole thing here, where a video gets that guy right up in your face and gives you a look at him right up in your face, is actually really excellent. And it gives you that same dynamic that you need to learn about how to do this in real life. Because this guy is not a 2D shape. This guy has a 3D face that is turning and constantly looking in different directions. And you have to learn how to work with that. You have to learn how to manipulate what you're seeing. and build off of that. I think we got some really good structure here. I'm going to go ahead and drop the opacity of this way down. And I'm having a hard time seeing him on this white background. I think it's my screen, quite honestly. I'm going to go ahead and try something a little different in this than I did earlier today. I'm going to drop in a gray background behind him. That helps a lot. And then I'm just going to drop my my layer here. And I also set it to multiply. I don't think it's going to make a big difference in this case, but I have it there anyway. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my pencil tool again. I want to make my pencil a little bit smaller, but I'm going to bring up my density just a little bit more. And we're going to go in for phase 2 on this guy's face now. Looks like he's taking questions now after he's had his little briefing. So now I can go ahead and start using him. And also take a look at the audience that's looking at him. You see how far away they are? Sometimes that can be a little bit harder to get a read on their faces, but, I mean, in an instance like that guy back there who just rubbed his face with the camera, that's a good face that you could draw until he puts the camera in his face. Thanks, dude. Maybe the guy standing next to him with the tie, you know, maybe his eyes just got really big looking over at her. He didn't like what he was saying, she was saying, apparently. So you can use things like this video to really help improve your art. And these people, politicians, for some reason, have very interesting faces that are really fun to draw. Not to mention, if you actually draw a really good politician face, that's something that you can share on your Instagram and stuff, and it will definitely help, because a lot of people may recognize that politician or something like that, and it might help out your ability to get your stuff out there a bit further. And who knows, that politician may see it and either sue you or love it and ask you to draw another one. Who knows? It's a gamble in this world, isn't it? So let me go ahead, and I'm also going to apply just gentle bits of shading here to start building up our structure. I see the shadow that comes down through here, but then I also want to get the lip feeling that comes off of that comes out like that. And there's these two basically tubes that are going to come down each side, and they come down here like a tent almost and connect to that upper lip. So I'm gonna put them there, but I'm gonna try and hide them as we continue on with the structure. Now, I definitely want to get this top lip. You can see it's very well defined, and there's a highlight point on the top of the lip that just makes it look like it's very bold and kind of intensive. So I'm going to stick it out there. I'm going to drop in just a little bit of dark tone. And then right here, I'm going to grab some white. I'm going to make a different layer, and I'm going to try and do this all together. I'm just going to apply a little bit of white to the top lip here, so it kind of pulls it towards us, and see if that makes a difference. Okay. Moving on, I'm gonna switch back to my black, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set my two colors up here so I can just switch back and forth between them and save myself a little bit of trouble. Thinking about the circle and the laugh line, it definitely a little bit of a different shape than I created, but that's okay. Seeing a big swooping shape here on both sides, and the chin is just like hardcore locked in there. You can see a very sharp shape that then connects it up to this swooping shape here, and that's also slightly like a tube, so we can make a bit of a tube shape there. That guy who's talking there, he's got a good face. You could do something with him. Obviously, you could go look through these and you could pause them. That woman sitting next to him looks pretty sleepy. I mean, there's wonderful opportunities that you could draw from videos like this. And if you're in the political world, or you're someone who appreciates politics, or you're like me, you're interested in what's going on with this administration and what makes it different, you got a wonderful opportunity to kind of kill two birds with one stone. This is it was a bit of an eye-opener for me today to see this, and it gave me the chance to test my I'm going to call it my green thumb, even though that's completely opposite of what we're talking about here, but to kind of test my green thumb and how well I can draw from a video, and try and draw a bit more of a realistic look, a bit more of a politicians are super fun to draw, and they're the guys who can get you the sales on magazines and newspapers and things like that. They're the guys that, you know, those kinds of companies and things would be looking for people to draw. Look at his bottom lip. There is a highlight point on that bottom lip, so I'm going to try and pull that off myself as well. So in the areas where the lip round point comes closest to us, there's going to be a little bit of white, so I'm going to try and squeeze that in here just along this top line here, kind of where it may hit us. And of course his teeth are a bit white, so I'm going to just gently stroke in a little bit of white on his teeth. Not much, just enough to make it count. And then we can go back in here and add in some black in here. Obviously that's pretty dark, and he does have a tongue in there. I'm not going to worry about the tongue, I think, at this point. I don't know how much longer we got on that video. And honestly, I don't even know how I'm doing in likeness right now. I'm having fun. This is a wonderful time to test my ability in exaggeration, and I think that that's kind of what's key for me. Because if you guys look at my caricaturing and cartooning that I do here, I draw a bit more of a caricature, which is basically making someone look good, making them look as cute as possible, and trying to make sure that they appreciate what they see in themselves, you know? But that's not exactly what a caricature is as much, you know? When it comes to caricature, sometimes caricature, there's different kinds of caricature. There's caricature where people want to make fun of you, and if you're a person who likes being made fun of in a cartoon style, then caricature is a wonderful thing to have done of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. I love working with a lot of the artists that I've had the honor to work with and learn from. I've gotten some really, really cool caricatures. I need to dig them out. Next time I get the chance, if I find them, I'll dig them out of the mothballs, and I'm going to sit down and show you guys what other people have drawn of me, and it would be a fun experience. I think you guys would like it. Now, I'm looking at some of the lines on his face like they're tubes, so I'm trying to also shade them up as if they're kind of tubes coming out towards you and going away from you. That's something you kind of learn over time. Same thing with the nose and stuff like that. And I haven't taught a lot about that yet in a couple of my videos on my Draw2Much.com site, but more of that's going to be coming as time continues to move on, and I'll have more to share with you guys on some more of my caricaturing techniques, but there's a ton on there already that you can go and check out. All right, let me go ahead and start focusing on the eyes a bit more. So I'm going to zoom in on the eyes and see if I can get a little bit more of a likeness in the eyes. I'm also going to sharpen up my pencil a little bit more because his eyes are quite piercing, and I really want to kind of define that look. So this is where things can get a little technical, because if you want to put a lot of attention in something, attention in eyes is a really important thing to do. They're the window to the soul. They're when you take someone's face and you cover most of their face with like their hand or a piece of paper or something, you can tell their expression in their face just by looking at their eyes. And even though people have lots of different looking shapes and faces and things like that, you can still tell if they're smiling or if they're frowning or whatever in their eyes. It doesn't matter how different their face looks. So it's really, really important to try and get as much of a likeness in the eyes as possible, and if not a likeness, then to define out the eyes as much as you can and give them the structure. I would say that likeness is really, really key. He's got this one larger bag hanging down on both sides there, and I'm going to go ahead... Oh, I was in my white there. That stinks. So I can't really do much. I'm going to make another layer and add white to that one. And I'm just going to go ahead and scrape in just a little bit of white here on this upper bag. Not much. A lot of white, though. I'm going to stick it here in this part of the eye and a little bit below here. Okay. And here in this part coming over his face. All right, let's go the other direction now and look at the other eye. Switch back into my... All right, his other eye seems to have a little bit of a different shape. It's close, but not quite. So it's almost drawn like you would draw a normal eye without any hanging skin. And then the hanging skin comes off the side a little bit more and seems to almost connect with the nose. Now, his eyes are pretty close together, so I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to squeeze them in, because I'm drawing them a little bit too realistically. I mean, like, I'm drawing them too close to what they look like in real life, and I think that there's the exaggeration point really isn't there. So I'm going to go ahead and get them there, you know, kind of get them sketched in the way I want. Grab my white. And once again, I'm going to fill in a lot of white in the bottom of this eye. And a little bit here on this bottom bag, top bag, and then on the bottom bag, just on the top of it, get a little bit there, okay? Now, excuse me, I'm just going to grab all my layers, get my lasso tool, and I'm going to select just the eye itself, and I'm going to manipulate it and shrink it down. Okay, and I'm gonna really kind of go for crazy here. Since I'm pulling in the eyes closer to the nose needs to go down lower, which it is pretty low right now. So my exaggeration point is still holding pretty true. What I'm probably going to do to work with that a little bit is work on the outside of the face to kind of pull it in a little. Because everything needs to affect everything else. If I'm going to push the eyes in, it's going to pull the nose and mouth down. If I'm going to do that, it needs to pull in the outside of the face a little bit more. So we'll see about how well this works in the end, if I'm actually getting somewhere with this, or if it's just not feeling right, but we'll see. Give them a little bit more there. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull the face in here just a little. Zoom it out and take a look at it from far away. See, the eyes still kind of look like they're supposed to be there, and that's good. That gentleman, his nose. That nose and that face would be so much fun to draw. Okay. Alright, so kind of come up this way. And the thing is, we already stated before that his forehead is very, very large. So really the only place where I can exaggerate this to really make it work for me in that sense, dangerously going to merge all these things together. And that's not really the best way to do things, but I'm going to do it anyway. Merging everything except for, whoop, nope, we're going to go ahead and keep that one as it is. And then this one is the background layer, which I'm going to keep there. So the only place that I can really do it is I need to make a little bit of a balloon shape, like this, and like this. Like someone's pinching it right here in the center point. So if we pinch it around his eyes right there, then we can start pulling in the face kind of like this. And then expanding it back out for the head. So we'll pull it in here. And I think what's going to help us a little bit is his ears. They're not intensive. You know, they're not like, whoops. Just started putting flowers on his face. I never use those pattern brushes. So here I can go ahead and just kind of make the ears a little bit larger and kind of push them out. It's not a big form of exaggeration. It's not desperate to be done that way, you know. But I think I can pull it off, and if I can't, then I can simply tone it back a little. Go ahead and try and sketch out a little bit of the shape of his ear. And the other side. Okay, coming up the other way. And it looks a lot like a political caricature, which I think is really cool. I've always loved political caricatures. If you guys want to see some truly awesome work when it comes to political caricatures, you need to look at Jason Seiler, S-E-I-L-E-R. You need to look at, oh goodness, Jason's my favorite. Jason truly knows how to do a political caricature with realism. And the thing is, the thing I love about his work is it's not so realistic that it's that it looks like a picture. I mean, it kind of does, but he says, and this is the thing I love that he says, and I think more people should do this, he says, I leave the strokes in there because I want this to look like a painting. And I love that about his work. Absolutely love it. I'm going to be critiquing some work here in the next couple videos of some really amazing artists, and once again, it's a wonder if they've copied or if they've you know, traced and then colored in like paint by number, which is something we'll talk about when we actually do those critiques. But when it comes to those points, the thing that I find is that they look too much, and even though they look painted, they look too much like the original picture. And I think that if you're going to do realism portraiture, you need to really try to make an effort to make it look different, and especially make it look painted. You have the opportunity to make some important decisions on things. You have that helped out. Those eyes just pushed him out. You can see him in there now, and I think that's really cool. Now, something that I'm noticing is that his hair coming around on the right side, his left or right, connects with his hair. I mean, his cheek. So I can erase a little bit of this hair, and I'm going to connect it with the cheek here. So as this naturally comes around, it's going to come around to the cheekbone kind of like that. Okay, it's not a bold thing, but it's there. And then coming off of the bag, the eye bag, which I'm actually thinking I'm going to take it down a little bit longer, it looks like this goes and kind of connects to it like that. Now, obviously, I'm aging him by putting in these lines, so it needs to be very carefully handled how we do this. And we can look at some of these things. But remembering that some of these shapes are here, like I'm going to try and gently mock some of this in. To be able to look at it like this, to this very gentle form, really is going to help. Is that your phone or mine, hon?
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to keep going with this video no matter what. I'm doing good here. If you guys are hearing background noise, it's no problem. My wife is making me a delicious dinner, and I'm looking forward to it. And we have a very small apartment, so if you're hearing background noise, it's because I tell her my video should never affect what she's doing. He's done talking, so I'm sorry, guys. We're going to rewind back a little bit because I'm enjoying myself, and if you're in it for this far, then you're probably in it for the long haul. So we're just going to hang out together and keep working on this, okay? All right. So, continuing on here, and my stuff doesn't need to be professional. My stuff is here to come out and hang out with you guys. I've been called the unedited Jazza, Draw with Jazza, and Jazza is awesome. I love his stuff. He does some awesome animation. I really like his virtual reality stuff that he's doing right now. So to me, honestly, that's a bit of a compliment. Thank you very much. I'd like to chat with him sometime and see if we can collaborate one day. I don't know. But I'm the little guy. He's doing great for himself. I'm just the little guy right now. You guys can keep helping by keep pushing my artwork out there. If you enjoy what you see, you know, you share it with your friends and stuff. Maybe one day we'll meet up with other artists and have a great time on YouTube like I dream that will happen one day. Oh, hang on. Is that video playing? It's not. This is truly pushing my computer to its limits. I have yet to try recording both of my screens and my drawing all at once. So I think it's a CPU intensive process, but it seems to be. This computer is awesome. My father-in-law built it for me. Anyway, I digress. I talk way too much. I'm trying to remember what I was saying originally. But long story short, this is just a really, really fun way to really practice a lot more on some of your techniques. I'm going to go ahead and mess around a little bit more with some more white because I really love how this looks. And drawing on gray just gives you a wonderful opportunity to really experience what white can do to your image. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply some little bits of white where I'm seeing them. And if you look at the top, like around his eyes, all right, I want you to think about Trump. A lot of people know Trump as orange, and like his tan is like so crazy that he's got this insane sunglass tan, you know, where you can tell where his sunglasses have been, and it's just all kinds of gone wrong, you know. But in this situation, this guy just seems to have a lot of white pigment around his eyes. It doesn't look like a tan thing. It looks like he literally has a lot of white pigment, and then the rest of his skin is a darker, more normal tone. So I'm going to try and capture some of that and see if I can follow some of the structuring around that I'm seeing here. Looking at his face like it has different tubes and things, and trying to build off some of those structures to get the forms that I'm looking for here. And then we'll go in and we'll add some shadows and see about just how all this pops together. I mean, this is just a sketch. This is the start of something. If you were to take it to do something a little bit more serious with it, then you would do that. But for right now, this is just my play. This is not going to be a finished piece. I'm sorry, guys. Not a finished piece. But to be honest, sometimes I like these sketches much more than I like actual finished pieces. Because there's just something so beautiful about simplicity sometimes. All right, let's even look at the hair. Okay, on the top of the hair, there's a backlight or a hair light, a rim light, and it's hitting right here on the top of his head that we can kind of get in here a little bit. All right, let's keep looking around for highlights. Obviously, this shirt is obviously white, so there's a lot of opportunity for highlight there. Coming down here, he's got a green tie on. So I'm not going to worry about that. He's wearing a blue shirt. Not going to really worry about that. I'll worry about some of that as we get in more with the shadows. Okay, now you guys may have noticed, you may have been screaming at me, I just realized this. I did the cheekbone for one side of the face, but I didn't do it for the other. Now, to me, look up, buddy. The definition on the right side, his left, is more than on the left side, his right. For the right side, the cheekbone looks a bit more sunken in, where on his right side, his left, our right, it looks like it could stick out. So for the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to reduce it just a little bit, okay? So we're going to give this a shot and see if I'm doing this correctly. We're going to bite my nails and give it a shot. So in the same way, once that we get done with whoever's talking, I'm going to go ahead and start drawing in the cheekbone, but I'm going to keep it inside his face, so it's going to be a bit more internally defined. You see here? So I'm going to put that in there, just like this, and I'm still going to kind of connect it with the hairline. I want to see some referencing. Okay, you can obviously see the cheekbone. You can obviously see the cheek shape, the tube there. You can see he needs to look a little bit more at us or in the other direction. You can definitely see where it connects to the ear, which is very good information. And you can see that bright white point of the pigment in his skin right there, where he has a couple crow's feet. And I also need to pull down the outside lines of his eyes a bit more. They need to come down and then out. So down and then out, to kind of pull out that droopy eye feeling that I'm seeing in there. Okay, now there we go. He's turned a little bit more, and you can see this. The outside of his face is still there, but he has a little bit of a chin connection down here. So I'm gonna see if I can get that in there. I don't think I can though, just with how I've drawn this face so far. When I glance back and forth, it looks like him, and then when I look straight at it, it doesn't look like him. But you know what? Like I said, this is all study, and this is me trying to learn how to do better realism. So partially, guys, I hope I get a lot of likes for this, because quite honestly, this might not look exactly like him. But this is me learning, and one of the things I've told myself is that I'm going to share all my experiences with you guys, my learning experiences or my teaching experiences. I've been drawing caricatures for 8 years. I think 8 years, 10 years, somewhere around there. And it's been a wonderful growth process, something that I'm never turning away from. I love what I got going on. I'm going to go ahead and start adding some more shadows, I think. So I'm going to make a new layer. And I'll put it over the white for now. It doesn't really matter where it goes. And I'm going to start looking at where these shadows are and see if maybe we can start defining a little bit more about where things go in and come out. Okay, so let's go this way and this way. And that's pretty deep in here. Like there's some pretty heavy shadow on that side. And on the opposite side, like around here. Okay. I saw a little bit of a bump coming down here, so I'm going to apply just a little bit, just for now, just to kind of see if I can begin to get a shape of where the shadows are. I may actually draw them in, So I'll show you a technique that I've seen other people do, and we're going to give it a shot here too. I can also go in here and... no, hang on. We'll go ahead and draw in the shape first. So I'm going to use a different color just to demonstrate. I'm going to see... darn, I jumped away from him. There we go. So we're going to come back here, and I'm going to follow this shape around down here, and then it's going to hook up to here and travel down and follow through to the chin, just like that. I see this shape right here, and it comes around here and back that way. I see this shape over here, kind of following this way, and then jumps back, and then kind of just whittles out as it comes down this way. I see something over here, and I see something coming down this way. So these are what I'm doing is I'm trying to map out where I'm seeing areas of shadow. Okay, obviously the hair needs to come out this way just a little bit more on both sides, which I think I got this side pretty well. This side needs a little bit more hair, so I can pull it out this way. Now, looking at my alignments, he's got a weird haircut, because you can see this line does come closer to the eyes. Over here on this side, though, it doesn't. It's more back over here, and it's not quite lined up. So I'm going to line it up, but I'm still going to try and keep this distance pretty far away from it. So kind of like that. And I'm going to remove this shape altogether, and I'm going to go straight up to the head. Okay, minimize that so it's not really there. I'm actually going to multiply it so it goes into the actual caricature itself. And quickly just erase some of my line work and get some of that restructuring going on. Straight up into the shape here, just like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and add in some airbrush. Now, airbrush is very, very useful for doing very gentle tones. So I'm going to drop my opacity to next to nil. I'm at 6%. I'm going to put it on the top for now just because. And I'm just going to do some very, very gentle, quick washes along one side of the face here. And you're going to see it's going to give it some instant depth. Instant depth. I need to draw in the shoulders here. But you can just see the face just start to kind of pop out on the paper a little bit. And if you really wanted to, in the areas where his forehead is, like I can apply some extra white here, coming down the nose here, on the cheeks here, like so, on this lip area here. I'm just applying a little bit of white, and you can barely see it. It's almost like applying makeup. It's just in gentle washes. And the only reason I know about that is because I've had deep existential conversations with my wife about how she applies her makeup, because painting is oftentimes like how you would do makeup. So it's a very gentle and slow process, and it's done. Women don't realize how much skill they have when it comes to doing makeup. There's a lot that goes into it, but you can see an instant pop off the page. I don't think it'll make a difference if I turn, lines on or off at this point in time. Usually when things are more defined, you could turn off your line work and see the structure underneath, but I'm doing everything in very, very gentle washes and lots of cross-hatching, which I think adds a lot to it. And you can see here as I turn on and off this layer, it just seems to make the face pop out. It looks really, really cool. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my multiply layer here for my red lines for my reference. I'm going to go back in here with my pencil, and I'm going to go ahead and try and see what happens if I build up some of that same line off the red line. Let me turn that back on for now. I really don't need it because I can pull it with my eyes in lines of finding that for myself. But it's there, and I created it, so why not use it, utilize it. And I may not like this, because this big, long, cross-hatched lines across a face might not feel very good, and also may mimic a little bit too much of beard, and that's not my intention here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these lines here and carry it down just to kind of get this shadow. And I already got this one pretty well knocked in. Okay. Ear structure, I can put a lot here on the top of the inside of the ear. And of course on the top here. Alright. Let's go ahead and finish up the jacket. And of course the jacket is in a high level of darkness, so I don't have any problem doing a heavier pencil along there just to quickly fill it in. It's just a sketch, guys, just a sketch. Okay, let's take this up this way, and this up this way. Like I said, hopefully I won't get in trouble for using presidential video as a reference video, but I think they'll forgive me, or they'll just tell me to take down the video or whatever. So help me make this viral, so I can learn how to do things correct. Okay. Let's go ahead in here really quick and do a very gentle wash on the eyes themselves here. And then also, and I'm kind of using my pencil as an airbrush right now, because if you take a look, I am using my pencil, but I'm putting things in here pretty deep, using it on a broad scale, on a broad spectrum, which can be a lot of fun. And there's no rules. There's no rules to art. You go in here and you fill things out as you want. I am going to give him that cool little sparkle that I'm seeing in his eye. A couple just little dots along the one side here. And I'll add just a little bit more white into the shape here on the side, so his eyes kind of embolden a little bit of... There we go. Same thing that I did with the teeth and stuff. I like it. I think it looks pretty cool, guys. I'm having fun with this. Add a little bit more on the tops here. By the way, can I just say, thank you so much for your kind comments. I got a great comment from someone who messaged me on Patreon. She's been a wonderful patron, and she basically let me know that her sales right now are doing very, very well, and that she is learning the ways of caricature, but she's started doing cartooning. And she said it was because of some of the stuff she's seen here on this channel. I hope so. And I really truly appreciate it. I hope I'm not speaking out of what she was saying, but apparently she's doing very, very well for herself, and she was so sweet to come and let me know that that some of the videos here have motivated her to do some things, and it's really helped her make some extra sales. And that's absolutely amazing. And praise the Lord, I am so glad that I can support you guys like that. I hope that that many of you have had that experience. I mean, how many people are in the world? You know, there's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to be able to make money in this industry and not step on each other's feet, you know? I mean, sure, you want to be careful as much as possible. If you see someone else, you know, thriving in an area, try not to jump in on them. But when it comes down to it, guys, there's a wonderful opportunity here for us artists, especially doing the kind of stuff that we do as caricaturists. Caricaturing is still a super specific trait, a super specific art form that is worth sharing and worth you know, worth getting known for. I do a lot of different stuff, but caricaturing for me is the one thing that people recognize about me, and it's been wonderful to, it's been wonderful to utilize that in my business. I get people who contact me and ask me for a logo, and I'm going, cool, no problem. What kind of logo do you want? And they go, well, I want a picture of myself, and I'm like, that's not a logo, but that's because I'm known for doing this stuff, caricature, and that means that in the end, sure, I'll make them a full logo or whatever, but there's more to it than just a 3D graphic or a vector logo image or whatever, and there's such a market for it. So learn it, get into it, and there's some wonderful people in this industry who will be willing to support you and pull you in under their wing. I can tell you that right now. I really hope that as you've been here on this channel and have gotten to experience some of this artwork, I hope you felt like I've tried to take you under my wing. That's really, honestly, the kind of feeling I'm trying to put out here as I'm talking with you. Food ready? No. No, you just watching? Yeah. It looks cool, doesn't it? I like it. Thank you. My wife likes it. That means I'm doing good. Food is almost done, but yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. I want people to feel like this is a mentorship, and I miss some of the stuff that I used to do. I used to sell lessons, like private lessons to people. And that did somewhat well. I didn't get a lot of sales, but it was a lot of fun to do that, and I'd be very willing to do it again. Because those are friendships that I'm still carrying with me now. And some of those people are still patrons, and some of those people are still, looking for more advice and looking for more wisdom on things. And it's so much fun to do so much more than just to talk into a camera and talk into a microphone. I want to feel like I'm connecting with you guys, and it's wonderful, wonderful to actually feel so much more in this than just doing a drawing and sharing it on YouTube. I like teaching. I like feeling you guys being accepting of it, and I especially love, from the very bottom of my heart, Amy, you know who you are. Anyone who has messaged me and said thank you, from the very bottom of my heart, guys, you have no idea how much I truly appreciate that. And that takes a very thankless thing to be a teacher, and it makes it extra special. And I really, truly appreciate that very much. So thank you. And a lot of you guys are very, very thankful. You guys are always, getting a hold of me and saying thank you for this tutorial and stuff like that. But it says so much to me when I'm seeing some of you guys actually taking some of this advice and literally making sales, literally making money and saying, hey, I'm succeeding because of some of these techniques that you're teaching us, and that's phenomenal, phenomenal. Right, so far so good. I'm feeling good about this. Start getting in this other hair here. I think we're kind of wrapping it up here pretty soon. I love what I got going on here, guys. I'm having so much fun. Let's go ahead really quick here, and on the background layer, I'm going to alter it up just a little bit. And since they're done here with their little chat, then we'll probably get ready to polish it off here ourselves. Let me go ahead and stop the video. I'll just jump to a general part where he's kind of talking, so if I need any extra reference, I have it. But I think I'm about done. There's changes I would make to this. I mean, this is not a finished piece. I do think that some extra adjustments to the caricature would help it. But maybe that'll be another video for another time if you guys want. But when it comes down to it, I think that this is a really, really great practice drawing, and to take things from just the normal cartoony caricature style that I usually do and to turn it into something a bit more of this nature, I think really adds a lot to it. So just kind of darken this in here and darken this in here. Okay, and let me go into the lip here and just dab in some darkness in the lips. And knock in some very quick shadow in the eyes. And in the nose, coming down this way. I think that's going to do it, guys. I love it. I'm just using my pencil, like I said before, as a bit of an airbrush. And I'm just airbrushing in like very, very gentle tones here. Just kind of building up the structures that I'm seeing a little bit that stand pretty bold. Now, the thing about the briefing room at the White House is that it has very neutral lights, and they do that on purpose because they want everyone to be able to get the video that they need to get, and having neutral lights is important. So they're not going for artistic, they're going for, you know, making sure that cameras can properly capture a face. So I think, though, that this looks really, really, really cool. I think we're going to sign it off and sign it out and leave you guys be. So as I get this signed up here, please remember to stop by Draw2Much.com, my website where I sell advanced tutorials for you guys. Would love it if you'd go check it out. Remember, if you are a patron, you get all of the tutorials that I sell on Draw2Much.com as part of being a patron. So get over to patreon.com/TimMichaelArts. And please consider becoming a patron because you guys are amazing. And that's a wonderful way to say thank you for these videos. And I hope that it's worth it to you guys. Other than that, I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much for all of your support and love, guys. And we've come into 2017 kicking it strong and getting a lot done in here and learning a lot. And this is the way I like to do things. This has been a lot of fun. We got some stuff coming up that I'll tell you about in the very, very, very near future. But until then, I'm going to leave it at that. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And yeah, it was awesome hanging out with you guys. Now I have to get to my screen to close it out. So there we go. And if you look down below, you'll see it pop up there. There we go. All right. Bye, guys.